Right, let's have a look then. Oh god, it's the flywheel. It's the clutch. Oh dear. So this is footage from my last track day at Goodwood. As you can see, my car's going through the gears nicely, but as the day went on, it became harder and harder to select fourth gear. It was making some really horrible grinding noises, especially when downshifting from fifth to fourth. At the end of the day, it was impossible to select fourth, so I just ended up missing it out. Also, I've been having issues with clutch judder when pulling away and downshifting. Now, I thought this was down to the flywheel, but as you saw at the start of the video, the problem was a bit more obvious, so I decided to pull the gearbox out and have a look, see what was going on. Now, I've already made a video on that, which I will leave a link to in the description.
Many months later.
So I've just dropped the gearbox off at RM Performance in Banbury, and I was chatting to the owner there, Rob, who rebuilds all the gearboxes there, and he used to work for ProDrive, and he used to build the gearboxes for Colin McRae Subaru, so I'm pretty sure I've taken it to the right man. Now, he also said that it's always fourth gear which has an issue in those gearboxes, so he's going to get it stripped down and repaired for me. So let's take a closer look at the pressure plate, the flywheel, which is a lightweight flywheel, and of course the broken friction disc. Now, as I said in the video, I was experiencing some juddering of the clutch, which I thought was down to this flywheel being slightly warped, as it is a lightweight one, but I don't think it is. I think the juddering was down to this, the broken friction plate. Now, I didn't have any slippage of the clutch at all at any point. Now, I've done about 5 or 6 track days with this clutch while it's been juddering, and as I said, no slipping or anything. So it's obviously a very good clutch with, I don't know, 20% of the material missing. So I've spoken to the manufacturers, and I have ordered a new friction disc from them. I'm going to reuse the pressure plate, and obviously the flywheel, I think, is no problem with that. So we get that fitted, and that should sort my juddering out. There's a few more little jobs I'm going to do to the Subaru when I put the gearbox back in. So this is the heat shield for the turbo. As you can see, it's definitely seen better days. I mean, there's a hole in it there from the rust. It's 20 years old, so we're going to replace that with a turbo blanket. And while I was buying a turbo blanket, I thought, to improve the heat management again, we get some exhaust wrap. So I'm going to wrap the downpipe here. Now, the downpipe is a 3-inch downpipe. The whole exhaust system is 3 inches in diameter. And then I started looking at the gear linkage, which I've got here. Now, this bush here has definitely seen better days. As you can see, focusing on that, you see it's all cracked and horrible. So I brought this white line kit. It's got a new one of those in there, a stiffer one, and it's also got one of these bushes here. I mean, there's a little bit of play in there, not massively, so we get that fitted as well, and that should help improve the feel of the gearbox. So let's start with the gear linkage. So in the white line kit, we get this, what they call a shifter block, which replaces this rubber one here. As you can see, I've already said, it's horrible, nasty, cracked. Get 2 bolts to bolt it to the car, and then you get this bush here, which replaces this bush here. So I think the first job will be to get this bush out, and then we'll put this bush in its place. Now, the kit does come with these instructions, and it does say the best way to get this bush out is with a flat bladed screwdriver. So let's give that a go and try and get that out. Come in. There we go. That wasn't too hard, was it? So the kit comes with this high performance bushing lubricant, so we'll add that onto the bushes. Now, as you can see, I've changed my gloves for this because I don't want to get it all over my hands, so I guess we just put some around the bushes before we put them in. I think it's supposed to stop them squeaking or something. So we'll push that one in there. There we go. I'll wipe the excess off in a minute. Do the other one. And I guess I'll put some in the middle as well when I put the metal sleeve in. we go, push that in there. There we go. And I'll pop some in the middle. And then push that in there. Like a glove. There we go. All done.
4 to 6 weeks later.
So I've just literally just picked the gearbox up, and there it is back. You can see it's a little bit shinier. So what I'm going to do now, I'll show you how to attach the gear linkage to the gearbox while it's out the car, and then I'll go through what parts are actually replaced on the gearbox. So to install the gear linkage onto the gearbox, nice and easy. It's just basically 2 bolts. So we'll push that one. This is the bush we've just changed. We'll push that in there like that, and then we'll push this top selector one into there like that. Now there's a bolt which goes through there. There we go. Get that all the way through so it comes all the way. There we go. And then there's a nut which holds the bolt in. So let's drop that in there. I won't do it tightly because I'll take it off anyway to get it in the car. So the bottom one, there we go, it's got that lined up. So this wire is for the reverse. So I've already put the bolt through this bracket. Now that sits through there, and on the other side there is a captive nut which holds that bolt in. So we get that lined up. There we go. And there's a little cut out there for this bracket to sit in. Now this cable here goes onto this, which is the reverse. So we pull that back, we'll slot that on there, and to hold that on there is an R-clip here. So the R-clip goes through that post. Now if you see, if I do the gear selector, as I lift it up, you can see it moves this, which will allow you to select reverse. Now obviously this is a lot easier to do while the gearbox is out of the car, so as I install it on the car I will also show you how it's done. So these are all the old bits out of my gearbox. This is the 4th gear, which doesn't actually look too bad, but as it was making all the horrible noises and that, it was worth replacing. We got 3 synchro rings, which are 4th, 5th and 6th. Now these have been replaced with upgraded carbon synchro rings, so they shouldn't wear out as quickly. I've got this hub, which I believe the synchros fit into there, which help engage the gears. I've got 2 selector forks, and this, which I have no idea what that is. So if anyone knows what that is, let me know in the comments. So I've got my exhaust wrapped. The gear linkage is all ready to go after we've upgraded it, and we've got a new friction plate for the clutch. So obviously that looks a lot nicer than that one. If anyone's ever seen a clutch go like this before, let me know in the comments, because I've spoken to a few people and they have never seen one fail like that before. So the next job is to start putting the gearbox back in. So as you can see, the gearbox is all in, and I've had to lower the gearbox slightly to get the gear linkage on, to get the bolts through. And there you go, as I showed you earlier in the video, they're all bolted up there, and the reverse cable. So the next job is the shifter block, which goes on the end of the shifter there. So there's the shifter block installed. Now one thing I didn't mention was there is no prop shaft on the car either, so you will have to take the prop shaft out to get to all of this gear linkage. So to remove the prop shaft, it is super easy. There's the centre bearing there, so you undo these 2 bolts here, and then there's 4 bolts on the back that bolt to the diff, and then it just pulls out of the gearbox. See, the car's on the ground, the turbo blanket is on, and that looks much better than a rusty old heat shield. So we are in the car. As you can see, it's the gear stick. I've pulled this rubber gasket through there, and then over that sits this metal bracket here. So once you've done the 4 bolts up that holds this bracket down, that obviously gives you a weatherproof seal then, stop water getting inside the car. It's just need to put the interior trim on, and it literally all just slots in. There's no screws or anything, it all just clips together. So that will clip in on there like that, and then this one just clips in like that. And then all that's left is to screw the gear knob on.
A little longer than a few minutes later.
So as you can see, it's back on its wheels. Everything is put back together. There's the turbo blanket and the exhaust wrap. So let's go give it a test drive and see what it does. So I've been driving the car a few minutes now, sort of nicely warmed up, as you can see, going through the gears nicely, no clunks or anything. When I pull away, there's no judder in, which is absolutely amazing because that was really annoying. So let's give it a test. There's no one around. Nice quiet road. So it's first gear, away, no judder. Second, third, fourth, fifth, sixth, then we go down the gears, fifth, fourth, third, second, perfect. So as you can see, I'm back from the test drive and everything was perfect. The gear changes were perfect, no crunches, no grinding. And when we pulled away, there was no juddering, which is spot on. So I'm ready to do some track days now, which is perfect. I also want to put a baffled sump on the Subaru. So when I go around the corners, don't get oil starvation, go around the long sweeping bends. If you guys have got any other ideas that I should do to the Subaru to make it a bit more track orientated, let me know in the comments. And thanks for watching.